Do you recognize this plant? Today I'm going to share a little bit about what I've learned from this beauty. Hi, I'm Tracy from Nature's Heart. Welcome back to Friday Fun in the Soul Garden. And today we're outside. It's I was going to say overcast. It's actually hazy. We have some wildfire smoke blowing in, and apparently helicopters flying over. So the usual distractions being outside in the garden. Today I wanted to come in and share a little bit about some of the things that I've learned in working with Yarrow, Achillea millefolium. This I just picked from my garden, and being an aromatherapist, I work with the essential oil primarily, and yes, it's blue, and I'll talk a little bit about that shortly. So I had the idea that I wanted to share a little more about one of the plants that I'm working with. I shared about lavender in a previous episode, and I thought it was time to share about another ally that I've been working with. And Yarrow is one that I've been working with for a little over a year. And it's actually quite funny because yesterday then I got an email from my teachers at Aromanosis, Kathy and Florian, and they were talking about Yarrow. And I took that as a sign that yes, it is time to share about this beautiful plant. So a couple of things I wanted to just explain, that this, you can see there's beautiful flowers here, and each of these is one little flower. And you can see the beautiful light leaves, and then the strong, it looks pretty thin, but it's a really, really sturdy stalk. And this was important for me because as an aromatherapist, I primarily work with the oil. And so growing the plant is a really helpful way for me to see how the plant grows, and get a better feel for its personality in many ways. As I've explained before, I work with plants as allies, so I develop a relationship with them, and I spend a lot of time in the other world. If you've seen previous episodes and where I've talked about the liminal space and going into meditation and journey work, that's where I spend a lot of time with Yarrow. Yarrow does have a long history of medicinal use, and I'm not a herbalist, so I won't recommend any physical uses, although there are many. I really recommend, if you are interested in internal use or herbal use of Yarrow as a medicine, that you work with a trained herbalist. Because not all plants are safe for everybody. Whether it's a tea or a tincture made from the plant, or whether it's the essential oil, it's really important to work with someone who's trained in safe use of that specific plant and can tell you whether it's safe for your individual body. So this is my take. Again, I will just give a brief overview of what I've learned, and again, this is my perspective and my relationship with Yarrow. Yours might be completely different. So just a little bit about this blue essential oil. You can see the flowers are white. This blue does not exist in the plant. This blue is a compound called chamazoline, and it is produced through distillation. So that's one thing that I think is really cool about Yarrow. We get this compound that is blue. And chamazoline is a really powerful anti-inflammatory. So as an essential oil, Yarrow, it has antiseptic properties, it's anti-inflammatory. And one of the most beautiful things about Yarrow is it is the master healer. My teachers, Kathy and Florian at Aromanosis, talk about Yarrow being the herb of the wounded healer. And it really is. It really is. And the reason why I started working with Yarrow was because of boundaries. So look at this really thin, you would think this thin stem would be really flexible. It is not. It is straight, it is strong and unwavering. And this is something that Yarrow has really helped me with, is setting personal boundaries. And as I said, I work primarily with it in this form, but I learned a lot by growing it myself and watching it grow and seeing the and the strength. For me, there's a contrast: the light, airy, beautiful softness of the leaves compared with this structure, this really strong structure in the stem. So, for me, boundaries have been a real lesson, and those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I call myself a reformed people pleaser. So you can imagine that learning about boundaries and the beauty of them has been a real gift. So the timing for me now with sharing about Yarrow is because it's September and we're moving into what many call the darker half of the year, a time when we sort of go inward, we slow down, not following the cycles of the earth. We see the trees shedding and resting, and we do the same. And of course, I'm talking about Northern Hemisphere. Those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere will be the opposite. So for us here, this is the inward time, the darker time, and it's a really good time for us to be introspective and slow down. And that is becoming really clear for me, that it's time for me to do some inner work and some healing. And here is Yarrow coming forward again to say, hey, I want to help. As someone who loves learning, I love to find new things, and I often get caught up in the next shiny object. And this is a real problem. It's an issue for this, when we're on this path of spiritual growth and healing and personal development. There's always something new, there's always something new, there's always something new, and it's really easy to get caught up in the next new thing. And what Yarrow reminded me is to come back to what I know. And for me, what I know is working with the plants and working with the essential oils. And that was really important as I'm entering, this next cycle of the year, and I can feel that there's, some of my own healing work to do. It was important for me to not sort of grapple, well, what's next, what do I do? It's come back to what I know. That was why I wanted to talk about Yarrow today, this idea of coming back to what we know. And for me, it's the oils and the plants. For you, it might be something different. So as we enter into this next phase of the year, this more inward, slower pace, I invite you to consider, what is it that you know? For me, it's plants and oils. For you, it might be something completely different. And should you feel the call to, slow down and do some of your own healing work, remember what it is that you know. Remember your foundation. It doesn't mean that we can't have a passion for learning and that we can't expand and grow and learn in new things. It means that we can add those to what we already have. And that was a really important lesson for me. So I wanted to share that with you today. So the reason I wanted to share this is because I'm coming into this cycle myself of doing some renewed healing. And so I'm going to be pausing the Friday Fun in the Soul Garden. It's not a full stop, it's a pause. These videos I wanted to be fun and lighthearted, and it's become apparent to me that I want them to be fun for you. I also need them to be fun and nourishing for me. I will be coming back, perhaps not on such a schedule. I'll leave that open, and just know that there will be more Friday Fun in the Soul Garden. I'm just not sure when. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you again in the Soul Garden.